Welcome to Buy It on BirchStreet, the weekly show where we highlight the best of procure-to-pay on demand in innovation, automation, and solutions to help save you and your customers valuable money and time. BirchStreet Systems provides global enterprises with multiple locations a complete procure-to-pay business solution deploying cloud technology. Our guests today are BirchStreet Systems Chief Commercial Officer Paul Rantilla and Senior Vice President of Solutions Consulting Kim Huff. Paul, if you could begin by sharing with our listeners some of the hurdles you're seeing today on the procure-to-pay landscape for the hospitality industry.
Comparing the last 30 days and the last 90 days of U.S. airport volume to those same time frame in 2019 at our normal business environment. So what this does demonstrate is that we've got a different set of challenges on our hand. We've got a lot of business coming back. Clearly, leisure has been stronger than people had expected. So the percentages show that, double, triple the volumes of last year, which what I hear from customers is that it wasn't expected to be so strong. So the strain on business now is about how do we get people back into work. With many of our customers either furloughing or laying off more than 50% of their staff, it's a challenge to get people back to work. And if you can't get them back to work, how can you actually become more efficient, automated your business to be able to deal with the labor shortages? So really tough to look at end of Q3 and Q4 and predict how's corporate travel, especially with the Delta variant. It is difficult to forecast, and it is difficult to know exactly who to hire. And on top of that, we have supply chain challenges, getting the actual resources and materials into your businesses to be able to actually serve the guests properly and preserve your reputation. So we know owners are putting tremendous pressure on operators to be able to lower costs and deal with these supply chain challenges. And these are the pain points that we want to speak to today. What can you do with restrained or constrained resources from a labor perspective and limited capital to make your business more efficient?
And speaking of efficiency, BirchStreet Systems is about to come to its 20th anniversary, and you're well known in the industry for your product diversity. You have a variety of modules touching upon all phases of procure-to-pay. So could you briefly just take us through your offerings?
I think this is a really important area to look at because we do have a lot of modules, and it is all one integrated platform, and it is no other system in hospitality like this that can offer all these different areas. That being said, it is modular. So some of our customers might have only one or two, or they start smaller and they grow. In some cases, people think of BirchStreet as, it's a procurement tool, so that you do your buying in it. Well, it's so much more than that. We know that it's so important to buy the right products from the right suppliers at the right time, but to really drive value, in particular at the select service property type, you need to do so much more. Oftentimes you have one or two employees trying to do a lot of different jobs. So what we have heard from hospitality is we want to see more value. We need to change the invoice process. It needs to become digital. Got to move away from paper. Got to move away from paper checks. I think the last thing I'll say before we move on is that what we hear so much from our customers is that it's really about the unit level deriving value from solutions. It's easy for corporations, especially the management company, to go evaluate software and evaluate, say, a GPO, but really it comes down to the unit. And is the unit going to actually use the software? Are they going to get value out of it? Is it going to make their jobs easier? Is it going to allow them to report and track things that they otherwise would not be able to? So big focus for BirchStreet is to drive value at the unit level, which is where most of the spend happens and where the efficiency can really be derived.
I know we don't have time on today's show to cover all the modules, but perhaps I could ask Kim to give us an overview of the Threeway automatch that's been so successful for customers of BirchStreet Systems.
First of all, from a Threeway automatch perspective, obviously you've got that purchase order in BirchStreet against your contracted vendors and items, which gives you that compliance and the rebates back on those programs. But it also gives you that receiving record and the invoice. Our system will validate against those. And that's, in a perfect world, you're right, you have 100% no-touch rate because everything matches. In all reality, we'll talk about some ways to improve that, but an 80 to 85% no-touch rate when things are done right is a huge value add for the organization. So we work with you to make sure that that AP three-way automatch process is working well and right with as few exceptions as possible. And that is an ongoing process that is always something that can be further improved through technology or business processes. But then we go beyond that. So you've got those POs, you've got that automatic coding that, you know, the automatch is giving you so that you can then get those invoices into your back office for payment. And that's really where BirchStreet Pay comes in. So, you know, just talking a little bit about that, we know there are times when there isn't a purchase order. And so when that happens, those can come through our system as well. And there's ways we can auto code that so that you don't have to touch it. That's not always the case in all scenarios where there's allocations and you know, it takes a human to know what the difference is where there's allocations. But that aside, we can automate a lot of that coding for non-PO invoices. Those all go into the checkbook and off for you to, you know, to pay. And then, you know, BirchStreet Pay solution comes in and we're able to now leverage all of that information in our system to give you that visibility so you can make a better decision to approve the payments when you want to approve those. So no need to hand code or very little need to hand code. Automating that rebate or invoice process and rebates on top of it is pretty valuable.
Well, could I just jump in there, Kim, and ask you about what we're hearing about a new module coming that is going to impact the three-way auto match and make available a four-way auto match?
The contracts module is something that's coming, and we wanted to touch on it here. And why that's so important is from an e-sourcing and contracts perspective, if your vendors are going through BirchStreet on the contract side, and we have the items that are part of that, then we can do a four-way match just to make sure that not only does that invoice match the purchase order and what you've received, but that it also, in fact, matches to the contract where you have your compliant vendors and items. So this will be our hospitality's first automated four-way match, and we're very excited for that. That is coming soon.
Sounds like your new pup, Indy, is also very passionate about the new contracts module.
She got excited about that, yes.
I agree with Paul. It was good to hear India contribute to the discussion today. Well, that is all the time we have. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Kim, for the overview of the BirchStreet system modules and the explanation of the three-way auto match and the soon-coming four-way auto match. BirchStreet Systems Accounts Payable Three-Way Auto Match, empowering you to reduce costs and improve accuracy by automating invoice processing with cutting-edge budgeting capabilities. Automatically compare receipts based on customized matching rules, allowing your staff to focus on fewer exceptions. The BirchStreet Systems solution features three-way auto matching, enabling you to automatically compare receipts accurately based on custom rules. Obtain electronic invoices, converts invoices to a digital format to eliminate data entry, while AP Payments gives you complete visibility of payment status throughout the procure-to-pay cycle. Our AP back-office accounting interface integrates directly with ERP and accounting systems. Use Tax Calculator adds use tax for international compliance with local tax laws, while Digital Signatures obtains signatures quickly to accelerate processing and increase visibility. Our AP self-service portal enables users and suppliers to view invoice or payment status, and flexible invoice entry accommodates needs when challenges arise, including manual entry. Our customers realize processing speed and efficiency gains, leading to cost savings and improved spend visibility, with a reduction in cycle time of 25%. AP labor costs reduced by more than 50%, a decrease in manual processes of 90%, and supplier payments processing achieving 100%. Discover how BirchStreet Systems Accounts Payable Three-Way Auto Match can save you valuable money and time. To request a demonstration, visit birchstreetsystems.com. And finally, a special thanks to you, our listeners, for joining us for the discussion today. Join us next week for another installment of Buy It on BirchStreet.